Hello, and welcome to episode number 65 of WrestleRotica, the podcast that combines wrestling and erotica. This week we have one story to share with you. The story is entitled, Beautiful Corruption. After losing a rematch to Angelina Love at TNA Slammiversary 2014, Madison Rayne is once again forced to join the beautiful people as their property. She then is forced to do whatever Velvet Sky and Angelina Love want her to do. However, she quickly learns that this isn't as bad as she originally expects. Without further ado, let's get to this week's story. This story is entitled Beautiful Corruption, and it was written by Omega Twilight. Relax, Madison. Relax. It's not like if you lose this match, you lose everything. Oh, wait. I will. The Killer Queen Bee of Impact Wrestling, Madison Rayne, was pacing back and forth in her locker room. It was Sunday, the night of TNA's Anniversary 2014 pay-per-view, and soon after the current match was over, she would be up facing her former friend, Angelina Love, the current TNA Knockouts champion, one half of the beautiful people, alongside Velvet Sky, her other former friend, in a match for Angelina's Knockouts Championship. However, this time there was a catch, and a catch that would cost Madison dearly if she lost this time. I can't believe I actually agreed to Angelina's terms for this match. The Knockouts Championship means a hell of a lot to me. It's why I'm in this business. But is it worth my freedom? Is it worth my time? Is it worth my free will being taken away from me? No! No! Madison had agreed to terms stipulated by Angelina on the last Impact before Slammiversary 2014. Madison could still remember how everything played out, as it was still fresh and recent in her mind, and as she paced, her mind raced back to that moment in time. 3 days ago, Impact Wrestling. Madison was standing in the ring, waiting for a reply from Angelina Love. She had just challenged Love to a match at Slammiversary for Love's Knockout Championship. As Velvet threw up the loser sign at Madison, Angelina scoffed at Madison before saying, "You want to face me this Sunday for my Knockouts Championship, Madison? You know what? You can, but only, and only, if you agree to a few little stipulations I have for the match. After all, I did beat you in your rematch for it, so I don't technically have to defend this for another 30 days. You know? But I'll be nice and kind enough to give you one more shot. If you're willing, that is, to accept what I have to propose for the match. Quite frankly, Angelina, I don't care what your stipulations are. I'm sure, whatever they are, they're going to hit the match in your favor, like you and Velvet always try and do. Hell, Velvet is the reason you have that title in the first place. We all know it. Damn! But go on. What's the stipulation I have to agree to? Velvet angrily grabs a mic from ringside and pushes Rayne backwards before saying, directly in her face, "How dare you say I'm the only reason Angelina has that title? I should drop you right now, you worthless piece of Whoa, whoa, whoa! Calm down, bestie. Calm down. Save the anger for Sunday, okay? I forgot how feisty you are when you're angry. Well, fine, but only because it's you, Angie. I know, bestie. I know. Now, Madison, those stipulations you wanted to hear, here they are. This match of ours, if it happens, is only going to be no disqualifications. Anything goes, which means if I want to slap you over and over again, I can. Velvet also will not only, of course, be ringside, but the special guest referee for our match. Madison chuckled at that point. How could she not see that coming? Of course Angelina was going to want to stack the deck in her favor by giving herself stipulations that would benefit her. It didn't matter though. Madison would overcome it. Is that it, Angelina? I half expected you to say I had to go through 50 other women before I got to face you. You know, something original, rather than the tired, old stacking the deck against me routine. You know? Actually, Madison, no, that isn't it. But that 50-woman thing is an amazing idea. But I won't use it. Not on you anyway. No. There is one more thing though. When, not if, but when I beat you, you automatically are forced to rejoin the beautiful people. But not as an equal of ours. Oh, no, no, no. You'll be mine and Velvet's slave. Meaning, whatever we want you to do, whenever we want you to do it, you'll have to do it. If you don't, we can tear up that contract of yours. And you won't have any means for that baby of yours anymore. Will you? So go on, Madison. Are you going to accept or back out? Because I don't blame you if you want to back out. If you just admit I'm better than you, and always have been, you can back out now and save yourself from being beaten this Sunday. Madison couldn't believe that Angelina had said what she had just said. If Madison lost, she'd be forced back into the beautiful people as their slave. And not only that, if Madison didn't do what they told her to do, when they wanted her to do it, she'd lose her job. You're fired! The only way she has to provide for her baby. Madison had a lot riding on the match if she agreed to it. But Madison was not going to back out of this now. She was never a quitter, and she wasn't going to start being one right now. You know what, Angelina? I accept your stipulations. I don't care what you throw at me. I'll gladly be your obedient little slave girl if I lose to you this Sunday. Hell, I'll even wear the sluttiest little dress, the skimpiest little bikini you can find me if I lose. And I'll wear it willingly, because I can beat you. I shouldn't be challenging for that belt, but I promise you, Angelina, I will not lose to you. You're going to regret this, Madison. Believe me, you're going to regret this. Angelina kicked Madison in the chest, allowing Velvet to hit her in the face. Facebuster finished her on Madison, leaving her laid out on the ring mat as Angelina and Velvet stood behind her. 3 days later, TNA Slammiversary 2014. As Madison's thoughts raced back to here and now, she looked at the monitor screen in her locker room and noticed that Velvet Sky was already standing in the ring in her skimpy ref costume, and Angelina was making her way out to the ring. Madison collected her thoughts, breathed, and walked out of her locker room and down the corridors, determined that she would not lose tonight. No matter how high the odds were stacked against her, she could not, would not, shall not lose this match. And introducing the challenger from Seattle, Washington, she is the Killer Queen, Madison Rayne! Christy Hemming's voice rang out, loud in the Impact Zone, as Killer Queen hit the speaker system. She's a killer queen! And Madison's Titantron began playing as she walked out from behind the curtains, confident in her abilities and in herself. She had not worked this hard to become the beautiful people's new toy here tonight. She stood at the top of the ramp, staring down at the ring for a moment, before smiling and walking down, high-fiving some of her fans along the way. She then slid into the ring, noticing Velvet's pink bag in one of the corners. Of course she'd have that. Madison knew what was in it as well. Keep it together, Madison. Remember, everything's on the line right now. Tonight, you're either walking out of here, the Knockouts champion, or you're going to walk out here, the property of Angelina and Velvet, which is not something that should happen. Madison thought to herself as Velvet rang the bell for the match to officially begin. Madison and Angelina stood in the center of the ring. Angelina smirking and slapping Madison once. Then a second time. And then a third time. Making Madison lose her cool and stare Angelina down, trying to punch her multiple times. Angelina covering herself with her arms. Velvet would pull Madison off of Angelina, however, causing Madison to say to her, "What do you think you're doing? Can't you call this thing down the middle? Don't you talk to me like that, you bitch!" Velvet slapped Madison, then pushed her backwards, causing Madison to push Velvet backwards and slap her. Velvet then ran and got hit with a drop toe hold, sending Velvet to the mat. However, when Madison got up, Angelina was waiting for her, and hit her with Velvet's bag right in the face, causing her to spin around to Velvet, who had quickly gotten up and hit Madison with her in your face. Angelina then quickly went for the cover, and Velvet, lightning fast counted, 1, 2, 3, ding ding ding! Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, and still the TNA Knockouts champion, Angelina Love! Madison couldn't believe it. She didn't want to believe it, either, as she got up and knelt there. Both Angelina and Velvet pointed at her and laughed. Madison had just lost her free will. She had just lost everything. She had hoped that Velvet would at least have been a fair referee, but she should have known that Angelina's BFF would never do anything to annoy or anger her. Those two were as thick as peas in a pod. And now Madison, still kneeling there, stunned, was those two property. Hey Madison, guess what? You just lost. And do you know what that means, sweetie pie? It means you now belong to me and Velvet. And do you remember what you said that if you lost, you'd also wear the skimpiest bikini we could find you? Well,
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Get ready to get undressed, because look what we have for you here, Queen Bee. Madison's eyes went wide as Velvet took out of her bag the skimpiest, tiniest baby blue bikini you ever did see. And not only did she now have to wear that, but she had to get changed into it in the middle of the ring, in front of everyone. They were all going to see her nude. God, this was going to be so embarrassing for her. Go on then. Get your clothes off, and when you do, let everyone see you nude, just so they know how bad you look compared to Velvet and myself. I mean, after all, we are perfection. Madison stood up, and knowing she had to do what she was told for fear of losing her job, started to strip off. First her top, revealing her huge, firm tits to everyone. And then her short shirts, revealing her pussy to everyone, causing every man in the arena to start whooping and hollering. Tears started falling from Madison's eyes. She saw no remorse from Angelina or Velvet, as cameras flashed, taking pictures of her nude. I can't wait to have fun with her. Can you, Angie? It sure is going to be fun. That's for sure, Velvet. Now, put the bikini on, Madison. Go on, like a good little slave. Madison, tears streaming down her face, embarrassed and humiliated, upset, put the skimpy blue bikini on, camera still flashing, even when it was on. Madison was dreading thinking what Velvet and Angelina were going to do to her once they were away from the camera. Good little slave Madison. Now, come with us. We've got plans. Don't we, Velvet? Oh, yes! Very fun. Very erotic plans. And if everyone here is lucky, we may post pictures and videos of those plans online for the world to see. Or we won't, because you're all filthy, disgusting pigs who don't deserve to see our new toy. Now, come with us, Madison. Madison, still with tears streaming down her face, extremely upset, followed Angelina and Velvet Sky out of the ring, as the crowd booed Angelina and Velvet. Her head hung low. Madison felt helpless. She felt like her life was over. She knew that as she walked down the ramp and then backstage. When she got to the beautiful people's locker room, they were going to do something to her that would break her. Maybe she should just give up. Maybe it'd be easier that way. I bet you can't wait. Can you, Madison? I bet you can't wait to know what we have in store for you. Oh! Me and Angelina, we have plans. A lot of plans. Oh, look. We're here. As the three ladies rounded a corner, they arrived at the beautiful people's locker room. Angelina opening the door. Velvet followed her through. And lastly, Madison walked in. Of course, the locker room was lavishly decorated. Madison expected nothing less. Both Angelina and Velvet sat on a big sofa, leaving a space between them. Angelina said, "Come on, sit here. We're going to talk about our plans for you." Madison at this point felt like anything they threw at her could not be more embarrassing than what happened in the ring. At least she hoped and prayed that it wouldn't be. She hoped there was some spark of humanity left in Angelina and Velvet. Though, still crying somewhat, as she sat down, she figured she may as well not talk, and just listen to everything they say. Christ! You're still crying, aren't you, Maddie? Look, I know that it seems that Velvet and I are being complete bitches towards you. And that we want to completely ruin your life. And at first, that's what we planned for you, when you lost to me. But, we talked about it earlier today, and you see, now there's two options for you. Tell her option one, Velvet. Gladly, bestie! Now! Option one is simple. If you're going to refuse to cooperate with us and be stubborn, we're going to forcefully fuck you when we take you back to our hotel room. We're going to rip your clothes off, put on our strap-ons we used to fuck one another with. Yes, we fuck one another, and we like it. Though, that isn't the point. Both Angelina and Velvet giggled at Velvet's words. Madison stayed as silent as the grave, listening, contemplating what being forcefully fucked by two big strap-ons would feel like, and how long that would take to break her and make her a mindless fuck puppet for those two. It probably wouldn't take that long, she figured, as Angelina said. However, I think you're like option two more. You see, whereas the first option, which Velvet told you about, is the one we were going to do. We realized that, and remembered, that at one point, all three of us were best of friends.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have. We're the three best friends that anyone could have. We're the three best friends that anyone can have. And we'll never, ever, 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 ever leave each other.
We brought you into this business. Remember, option two is simple. Madison, if you apologize to me and Velvet, if you tell us that you're sorry for disrespecting us, for rejecting our offer to be in the beautiful people, if you tell us that we're both better than you are, then we promise you that we'll be gentle with you. We'll be nice, kind, and loving with you. We'll even make you an equal member of the group, and give you a gift we had made for you, which is in Velvet's kit bag over there. But by equal member, we mean in name alone. You'll still be our property, but we won't treat you like we were going to treat you if you choose option one. So while we get changed, think about it, okay? Angelina and Velvet got up and went behind their respective changing curtains to get changed, leaving Madison alone on the sofa to think about her choices. Option one would leave her a mindless puppet for those two. She didn't want that to happen. She'd not been able to look after her daughter if she lost control of herself, and she didn't want to imagine what happened to her daughter without her around to look after her. Option two seemed like the best choice. As much as it hurt her to say those words, she felt defeated, and she knew that if swallowing her pride and saying those words meant an easier life for her going forward, so be it. And as Angelina and Velvet finished getting changed into their regular clothes, and sat on either side of her again, Velvet spoke first, saying, "So, we gave you more than enough time to think it over. What's your choice going to be, Madison?" I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I ever thought I could go it alone here in TNA. I'm sorry I thought I was better than the two of you when I'm clearly not. I'm sorry I rejected your offer to rejoin the beautiful people. I'm sorry that I've disrespected you both. I'm so sorry for everything. I always should have just kept in line and did what I was told to do. I'm sorry. Wow! See? That wasn't so hard, eh? Here, let me wipe those tears away, Maddie. Vel, go and get her present, okay? Sure thing, Angie. As Velvet got up to go grab Madison's present from her kit bag, Angelina held Madison close to her, held her face up and smiled at her. A genuine smile as she wiped away the tears. A weak smile forming on Madison's face. There was some humanity left in Angelina and Velvet after all, it seemed. Angelina wrapped her arms around and hugged Madison close to her, as Velvet sat back next to Madison saying, "I'm so glad you chose option 2, Maddie. I really wanted my other BFF back. And now, I have her back again. Now, me and Angie, we had this custom made for you. We were hoping you'd try it on, and wear it for us tonight when we get back to our hotel room. Do you want to open it now?" Madison's smile grew ever so slightly, as she nodded, and Velvet passed her the box she was holding. Madison sat up and opened the box, which was closed with a pink ribbon, to reveal a luxurious-looking custom-made set of blue and white lingerie, a bra with her name on it, Madison Rayne, and on the thong it had a princess tiara. She blushed slightly at it and smiled, as Angelina said, "Do you like it? That tiara thing is because you're our princess. I'm the queen. Velvet is my second in command, and you're our own little princess. I thought it was fitting. Don't you think?" Thank you. It's so beautiful. You've really had this made for me?" "Yeah. Me and Angelina spent a lot of money on it. Want to try it on now quickly, before we leave for our hotel?" "Sure, I'd love to. I'll do it here, if you don't mind." "I don't mind. Do you, Angie?" "Nope, not at all." Madison's smile became a genuine smile again. Aww. As she stood up, stripped out of the baby blue bikini. As she did, she saw the looks on the faces of Angelina and Velvet. She could tell they liked her nude body. Oh yeah! Which made her blush even more, as she tried on the lingerie. It fit perfectly, and it felt so nice on her. She did a twirl for them, and both nodded their heads in approval. As she sat back down between them, Angelina saying, "You look crazy stunning, girl. Now I'm kind of jealous. So am I." All three women giggled, and Madison bit her lip, as she felt Velvet starting to stroke her leg. As she turned around, Angelina planted her lips on Madison's, the two sharing a passionate, romantic embrace, something which was new to Madison, and it felt quite nice. She wasn't expecting this kind of gentleness from Angelina or Velvet. She also felt the two women spread their legs, and begin caressing her covered pussy, making her moan pleasureful moans. Velvet also kissing up and down her neck. It felt so good she didn't want it to stop. But it did after a good 25 minutes. Velvet saying, "Gosh, look at the time. It's nearly 10 p.m. We gotta get going if we want to avoid the traffic on the motorway. It's so annoying at night. Plus, we gotta save some energy for when we get back to the hotel room. That was, wow, the best thing ever. Do you have any spare clothes for me? Or am I going to have to walk around in this? Which I don't mind, by the way. It'd just be rather cold." "Of course we do, silly. We wouldn't make you walk around in just that. You'd get done for indecent exposure. Vel, get her some clothes, please, doll." "Of course." Velvet got up and grabbed her kit bag, smiling as she riffed through it, and found some of her clothes she knew would fit Madison, and handed them to her. Madison immediately getting up and putting them on, smiling when they were on. She immediately felt better, knowing she wouldn't be walking around just in her cool new lingerie. Well, I'm ready to go. How about you, Velvet? I'm ready. You ready, Maddie? Yeah, I am. Good then. Lead the way to the beautiful car, Velvet. All three women smiled as they walked out of the locker room and down the hallways. Velvet leading them towards the car park. Madison and Angelina walked arm in arm behind Velvet. Madison smiling all the way. She really didn't expect to be treated this nicely, and it was rather shocking, but she was enjoying it nonetheless. Soon enough they arrived at the car park, and Velvet smirked as she pointed towards a pink Lamborghini Spider, making Madison's jaw drop and also making her say, "Wow! Is this really your car?" "Mm-hmm. Me and Angelina bought it together, so we called it the beautiful car. It's been fun as hell driving it so far, but you're going to see that when you're in there. Here, let me open the door for you." Madison smiled as Velvet opened the door to the back of the Lambo. As Madison got inside it, it was beautiful. She put her seatbelt on and closed the door shut. As, in the front of the car, Velvet settled into her driver's seat, and Angelina sat next to her, both with their seatbelts on. Velvet said, "Ready to see how fast this thing goes?" "Hell yeah!" "Then get ready for a fast ride. And I don't mean the kind you're used to from a guy." Velvet, Madison, and Angelina laughed at Velvet's words as Velvet started the car. And sped out of the parking lot. Madison's face grew hugely, feeling how fast the car could go, saying out loud, "This is amazing! I love fast cars!" "Oh, we know you do. Don't we, Angie?" "Yup. We know pretty much everything. We're that smart, haha." All three women laughed again as they continued speeding down the road at breakneck speed. Soon enough they made it to the local hotel, where Angelina and Velvet were staying that night. Once they parked the car in the car park, the three women got out, Velvet using her key to lock it. Then they linked arms and walked into the lobby, and right up to the front desk, where the desk clerk exclaimed, "Ah! Miss Love and Miss Sky! It's a pleasure to see you again. Is this your friend you were telling us about this morning?" "Yes! And she's staying with us tonight. We don't want to be bothered as well, because we're going to be busy, okay?" "Of course, Miss Love. Here's your room key. I'll make sure all the staff know not to disturb you this evening." "Thanks again, sweetie." Angelina, Velvet, and Madison then walked towards what looked like a white elevator. As they walked towards it, Madison said to Angelina, "You were talking about me to them? What does he mean?" "Oh, that was this morning, you know, before we made up and became besties again. Don't worry about it, sweetie Kay." "I wasn't worried. I just wanted to know, is all. What is this white elevator for?" "Oh, this thing? It takes us directly to our room. Cool, eh?" Madison had never heard of an elevator that did that, and as they got inside of it, Velvet swiped their key card inside of it, and as the door closed, an electronic voice said, through the speaker system inside of the elevator,
"Floor 12, Luxury VIP Suite. Welcome back, Miss Sky and Miss Love."
"Wow! Technology is amazing!" Both Angelina and Velvet smiled at Madison's amazement of the VIP elevator as they went up. Soon enough they were on floor 12, and the elevator opened right into the room. And as they stepped into it, Madison gasped in amazement at how beautiful and how stunning it was. However, her amazement was soon stopped when Velvet gently groped her from behind and planted her lips on Madison's, making Madison purr in delight. Velvet was so gentle, and it felt amazing to Madison. So, we're just going to start right away without giving me a rest or a drink or something? Not that I don't mind. Heh, not right away. I just wanted to let our princess know that we're going to make you feel very happy by the time me and Angie are done tonight. We're going to make tonight all about rebuilding the trust between us by pleasuring you tonight. It's all about our princess. Exactly, Velvet. Madison. Although you belong to us, you're still our bestie. And you know together we can do anything. We can rule the Knockouts division together. You and Velvet can revive the Knockouts tag division and take those titles. And I'll keep my Knockouts title for as long as I please with you two at my side. It'll be the three of us against the ugly skanks. What do you think, Maddie? I think that sounds amazing. I'd love to be one half of the Knockouts Tag Team Champions with Velvet. I do want to ask one thing though. Now, I belong to you both. Can I move in with you both? I mean, I'll understand if you don't want me to, but I'd love if you'd help me raise our daughter. She'll have 3 mothers now, eh? Angelina stood there for a moment, as did Velvet, who gently kissed Madison on the neck, causing her to purr again, before going to stand over by Angelina, who everyone knew by now was her lover, and that the two had been together for quite some time. And eventually, after a few minutes, Angelina said, "That sounds like a great idea. We'd be more than happy to help you raise our daughter, wouldn't we, Velvel Helen?" "Of course! The beautiful daughter of the reunited beautiful people. Plus, you moving in with us at home means we get to make love with you every single day and every single night. Oh, it's going to be so much fun!"
Yes! Yes! Yes!
All 3 women smiled and hugged, Madison's smile being possibly the biggest and brightest it had ever been. Not only was she going to be moving in with her besties, they were going to help her raise her daughter. Madison knew now that being Velvet and Angelina's property, whilst at first she thought it would be the end of her life, was in actual fact truly the best thing for her. So, now that that's sorted, what's a girl gotta do to get a drink before she eventually gets her clothing taken off and her world rocked by her 2 best friends in the whole wide world? Oh, love you too, bestie. I love her more, Angie. No way I do, Velvel. Heh. Gosh, I miss this. I really do. Now seriously, that drink? Heh. Velvet winked and smiled as she went into the kitchen part of their suite, Angelina leading Madison into the bedroom part, which Madison was truly amazed at. The bed itself was a huge heart with drapes around it. If her jaw could hit the floor, it would. "You think this is amazing? We have this at home, but a lot better." "Really? Wow! You sure didn't change that much, eh?" "Always nothing but the best for our leader. What can I say? A girl's gotta have the creature comforts, haha. Now, come and lay in the bed with me before I get restless." "Way ahead of you, bestie." Madison smirked and ran and jumped onto the bed, smiling as she lay in the middle of it. Angelina leaned to the left of her on it, after jumping on it herself. At that point, Velvet came in with Madison's drink in hand, a cola in glass with ice, and a lemon wedge. She said, "Hey, no fair. You're starting the fun without me." "Oh, calm your delicious tits, Velvel, hun. We were just jumping on the bed. Maddie wants her drink first anyway." "Heh, you always do know what to say to make me smile, Angie." "It's a gift, babe." Velvet smirked as she sat next to Madison on her right side and handed her the cola. Madison smiling as she took a sip of it. It felt nice and cold. As she drank a bit more of it, she felt both Angelina and Velvet tugging at her clothes. Madison smiled and laughed slightly. She figured those two couldn't last that long without wanting to make love to her. It didn't matter though. After that momentary experience she had with them earlier backstage at the pay-per-view, she too was eager to get nude.
Oh yeah!
I figured you two wouldn't let me finish this drink. Would you at least put on a show for me? For your cute little princess, and strip for me. You did say tonight was going to be about me after all. We did say that, didn't we, Velvel? Yes, we did, Angie. I think stripping would be fun. Both Angelina and Velvet winked at one another, got up and went and stood at the foot of the bed, and they slowly started to sexily strip, causing Madison to lick her lips at the sight of her friends acting like porn star strippers, slowly removing their tops, then their bras. Both Angelina and Velvet's tits were huge and juicy looking, though Madison personally thought Angelina's were much bigger than Velvet's. Soon enough they had stripped fully nude, and they also showed off their asses for Madison by twirling around for her. At this point, Madison wanted nothing more than for them to rip her clothes off and take her. She was beginning to feel incredibly horny, and she had never been this turned on before by seeing a woman nude. I don't know what to say. You both look absolutely stunningly fucking hot and delicious. God, I'm such a lucky woman. She is that, isn't she, Velvet? More lucky than she thinks. Both Angelina and Velvet then slowly and seductively crawled onto the bed, and closer to where they both were next to Madison. And once they were there, they both started to sensually and seductively make out with Madison. A three-way makeout session, with all three women's tongues dancing together and caressing one another. Meanwhile, Madison felt hands groping at and sliding off her clothes, and soon, after a blissful hour of making out and feeling pure, unadulterated love and bliss, Madison, Velvet, and Angelina broke the kiss, needing to breathe. Velvet saying, "We're so not done yet, but there is something we wanted to ask you, Maddie." Tell her, Angie. Have you ever wondered, Madison, why we're always so young looking, and why it looks like we've never truly aged? You know, now that you mention it, you both do look like you haven't really changed that much since I first met you. What's the secret? Some miracle exfoliation cream I don't know about? Heh, heh. No, something more interesting. Grab the bottle, Velvet. Bottle? What bottle? Madison's question was answered when she saw Velvet grab a small bottle of golden colored liquid from the bedside drawer. Velvet handed it to Madison and said, "This stuff is a very rare, very powerful liquid that, if you drink it, it keeps you forever young. You stay the age that you drink it at forever. You won't age. You won't ever feel pain again. You can't be hurt nor killed. You'll also get slightly larger tits as well drinking it. It's called Aphrodite's milk. It's named after the goddess of love." Wow! Is this stuff really that powerful? If I drink it, is there any side effects? I'll handle that, Val. Well, yeah, it's real. We only have 2 bottles of it left. There was only 4 in existence, and we're giving you one of the 2 we have left. We figured we'd give our daughter, the other one when she turns 17, so she stays young forever herself. As for the side effects, the only real one is your sex drive becomes extremely huge. Like, take your regular one and times it by 10 million. Oh wow! Well, considering I'm going to be living with you both, that won't be an issue. Are you sure there's no other side effects? Nope, none at all, sweetie. You really should drink it, so you can live forever with me and Velvet. Well, okay then. Madison smiled. If this would truly make her live forever, and stay forever young, she was more than up for it. She opened it, then gulped it down in one fell swoop. And sure enough, suddenly, she instantly felt a lot more hornier than she already was. And she saw her boobs grow a lot bigger, as big as Angelina's. In fact, bigger than hers. Soon enough, making Angelina quite jealous when they stopped growing. Angelina saying, "Damn, those things grew huge. They're bigger than mine even. I'm so jealous. It looks like me and Velvet are going to have fun tonight, drinking from those, and pleasuring you and ourselves. Fucking suck them already. Heh. That didn't take long, did it, Angie? Nope, not long at all. Angelina and Velvet smirked as they both took one of Madison's now huge breasts into their mouth, and hungrily started to suck on it. The taste of them feeling like ambrosia in their mouths. Madison's moans of pleasure spurring them on. As they also each slid a hand down to her pussy, and both slid 2 fingers inside, and started slowly pumping them in and out, while using their other hand to do the same thing to their own pussies. Fuck! You two are good with your hands and mouths. I knew that. Already, Angie. Always was a slut when it came down to it. Shut up, Velvel. Fuck. Madison's lust for the 2 women was beginning to get out of her control. Very quickly she was feeling the effects of the liquid she had drunk. But it did not bother her, as the pleasure she was receiving from the 2 beautiful, blonde nude women was immense to say the very least. And she saw them pleasuring not just her, but themselves as well. She grew even more turned on. Fucking hell! You two! You didn't tell me my tits would grow this huge! I do love it, though. They are fun to squeeze. And milk as well. Such tasty milk. You always were a milk whore, Velvet. Heh. Shut it, babe! God, it's so tasty. Okay, maybe I am one. Who can blame me, though? Velvet and Angelina moaned. Velvet the most, as Madison's breast started producing milk all of a sudden. Velvet downing it like a hungry baby drinking so much that some of it fell down her body and made it glisten. Meanwhile, the 3 women's pussies were getting wetter and wetter as a result of being finger fucked. Madison's especially was getting soaking. Madison's lust uncontrollable at this point, being fucked by her 2 best friends, seeing them suck her now huge tits. Her life was changed forever, thanks to not just the potion, but becoming their property, and she was loving every single moment of it. I always knew, secretly, Maddie was a horny slut. And now, she's a horny princess slut. So true, Angie. I bet you've always wanted this, right, Maddie? Yes! Oh, God! Fucking hell yes! God! You're both making me feel so goddamn fucking horny right now. God. Ever since I met you both, I've always wanted to be fucked by the 2 of you. And now you're both fucking me. It's all I've ever dreamt of. And more. It's perfection. God! Please don't stop. Fucking hell right there, you sluts. You heard our lusty, busty princess, Angie. I love this. New her. So do I, Velvel. Let's give her what she wants. Velvet and Angelina picked up the pace of their finger fucking, their own and Madison's pussies. Having found Madison's sweet spot, they kept on hitting it for her. And soon enough, Madison was near climaxing. Velvet was nearly full of Madison's delicious breast milk, and so was Angelina. Both of them also, themselves very close to climaxing. Fuck! You two are gonna make me come so fucking much and so hard! God! Can't control it! Me either! Let's come together, Velvet and Maddie! Fuck! All 3 women screamed in pleasure as they finally climaxed. Madison's blissful release calming her down somewhat. She purred gently as she watched Angelina and Velvet seductively lick her cum, as well as their own off their fingers, before once again putting their fingers down to her pussy, putting some of Madison's cum on their fingers, and putting it in her mouth. Madison had to admit, it tasted good. So good. Thanks so much, both of you. My besties, you made me feel like a brand new woman tonight. I know that I'm going to enjoy being your property. Your little princess can't wait all the sex-filled days and nights we're going to have together. I love you both so much. Thank you, both for making me see the light. I love you as well, Maddie, and I'm sure that Angie does as well. I definitely do, although I think tomorrow we're going to have to go clothes shopping for you, considering your bras and clothes won't exactly fit your huge tits now, eh? Heh, they definitely won't, that's for sure. All three ladies laughed gently before once again making out together, then falling asleep. Angelina and Velvet resting their heads on Madison's huge tits. Madison smiling. She was so happy as she fell asleep. She knew her life was now perfect and truly complete. And in the weeks, months, and years that followed, the bond and relationship between the three women only grew. And Madison became a much more corrupted, obedient, lustful, sex-hungry fuck toy of a woman. Something that Angelina and Velvet had been anticipating, planning. They knew it would happen. Madison had lost all self-control and was now completely under Velvet and Angelina's control. It was something that they wanted, and now they had it. They loved it, especially because they knew it meant a lot more sex for all three of them. And beautiful sex they had. Forever. The end. Thank you for listening to episode 65 of WrestleRotica. If you enjoyed this week's story, please be sure to like and review us on iTunes. Visit us elsewhere online including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and as always, our official website, WrestleRoticaPod.com. Thank you and have a good week.